Hey listeners, welcome to English Made Simple. What if I told you that the difference between feeling stuck in life and getting exactly what you want isn't about luck or hard work or even natural talent?
Right, which sounds crazy to most people.
Yeah, it really does. But what if I told you it is actually a biological switch located right inside your own body? Today, we are going on a deep dive into the real hard brain science of how your thoughts shape your reality.
And, it sounds a little bit like a fairy tale when we put it that way. I mean, we hear these phrases like manifesting or creating your own reality, and, well, a lot of people immediately roll their eyes.
Yeah, they do. They think it just sounds like, magic.
Exactly, like woo magic.
Yeah.
But we are throwing away the magic ideas today, because when you understand how your nervous system actually works and how your brain filters information, you realize you have incredible control.
Wow, really?
Yes, you can literally rewire the physical connections in your head to change your life.
And that is exactly what we need because the truth is, so many of us feel trapped. We feel stuck in our jobs, worried about our finances, or just weighed down by our past.
Right. It's a very common feeling.
So, if we want to learn how to flip this biological switch, I guess we first need to understand the two basic states that the human brain lives in.
Yeah, so to keep it very simple, let's look at your nervous system. You have two main settings.
Okay, two settings.
Right. The first one is the sympathetic nervous system. But for our conversation today, let's just call this fear mode.
Fear mode. Got it.
Yeah, fear mode is your survival state. It is your fight, flight, or freeze response. When your brain thinks you are in danger, it pumps your body full of stress chemicals.
Like adrenaline and stuff like that.
Exactly. Your heart beats faster, your breathing gets shallow, and your muscles get tight.
Well, I mean, that makes sense if you are running away from a wild animal. But most of us aren't being chased by animals today. We are just like sitting in traffic, or we are worried about an email from our boss.
And your brain cannot tell the difference.
Wait, really? It can't tell the difference between a bear and an email.
Nope. When you are stressed about an email, or angry or scared, or even just constantly worried about what people think of you, your body stays in fear mode.
Wow. Which brings us to the second state. If we aren't in fear mode, where should we be?
So the second state is the parasympathetic nervous system. We can call this heart mode.
Heart mode. I like that.
It's nice, right? This is the state your body is in when you feel completely safe, calm, relaxed, and connected to other people.
So the opposite of stress.
Exactly. Your heart rate slows down, your digestion works normally, and most importantly, your brain is open and creative.
I think a lot of people assume that because the modern world is so fast and demanding, we're just supposed to live in fear mode. Like human beings are built to be stressed out warriors all the time, just fighting for survival.
Well, biologically, that is completely false. Humans are actually wired by evolution to live in heart mode.
Really? How so?
Think about human babies compared to other animals. A baby horse can stand up and run just a few hours after it's born, right?
Yeah, that's true. It can survive on its own pretty fast.
But a human baby,
Yeah.
a human baby needs constant, intense care for over a decade just to stay alive.
Oh, right. Because human babies are so helpless, human adults had to evolve to take care of them.
Precisely. We had to evolve a biological system that rewards us for taking care of each other.
I see.
When we care for someone, or when we feel deeply connected to a community, our brains release chemical rewards. We get a massive rush of a hormone called oxytocin.
Which makes us feel good.
Exactly. We feel good, we feel warm. We are literally built for love and connection, not for chronic, nonstop stress.
But staying trapped in fear mode doesn't just make you stressed. It literally shrinks your world.
It really does.
I mean, think about the last time you were terrified before giving a presentation at work or taking a big exam. You probably couldn't even remember simple words.
Yes, your mind just goes blank.
Right. And that wasn't you being stupid. That was your brain shutting down non-essential functions because it was stuck in fear mode. And there is actually a famous true story about a neurosurgeon who proved how extreme this can be.
Oh, yes. His story perfectly illustrates this biological shift. Today, he is a world-famous brain doctor. But when he was a 12-year-old boy, he lived in extreme poverty.
Yeah, his family life was incredibly chaotic, right?
Very chaotic.
Yeah.
His parents struggled deeply, and there was never enough money.
Mhm.
So as a child, he lived entirely in fear mode.
And a child living in that kind of environment is basically in a mental war zone.
Exactly.
If you are a kid who is always waiting for the next bad thing to happen, your jaw is clenched, your shoulders are tight, and you are just trying to survive the day. You cannot focus on learning math or reading when your biology thinks you are in a literal war.
It is physically impossible. The creative learning parts of the brain just shut down.
But everything changed for this boy one summer day.
Yes. He was riding his bicycle, just trying to get away from his difficult house, and he walked into a small magic shop in a local shopping center.
He went in hoping to see some plastic magic tricks, but he met a woman working there who changed his entire life with something much more powerful.
Simple
Yeah.
human connection.
Yeah. She didn't judge him. She didn't look down on him because his clothes were old and dirty. She looked him right in the eye, smiled, and treated him with pure dignity.
And what is fascinating here is the biology of that exact moment. By simply treating him with kindness and making him feel genuinely safe, she helped his nervous system calm down.
She helped him move out of fear mode.
Exactly. She helps him step into heart mode. And once his body felt safe, his brain was finally open. Over the next few weeks of that summer, she taught him how to relax his physical body and how to focus his mind on his goals.
You know, it makes me think of a survival video game.
Oh, how so?
Well, if you are playing a video game in fear mode, the screen is extremely dark, you have low health, there are monsters everywhere.
Oh, you're just panicking.
Yeah, all you can look at is the immediate danger right in front of your face. You're just trying not to die. But stepping into heart mode is like pausing the game, taking a deep breath, and suddenly turning on the lights.
I love that analogy.
Now you can see the whole map. You can see the hidden doors, the tools, and all the possibilities that were always sitting right there, but you were just too stressed out to notice them.
That is a brilliant way to picture it. In fear mode, your brain filters out anything that isn't a direct threat. In heart mode, your brain opens up to possibility.
So, okay, once we turn the lights on and get into heart mode, how do we actually program the brain to change our lives? Like, if I want a new career or a healthier relationship, how do I get my brain to find it?
This is where we get into the science of attention.
Okay.
Every single second, your brain receives millions and millions of bits of information. Your eyes are seeing light and colors. Your ears are hearing background noises. Your skin is feeling the temperature of the room. Millions of bits of data are rushing into your head.
But I'm definitely not thinking about millions of things right now.
Right. Your conscious mind, the part of you that is awake and listening to this conversation, can only process about 50 to 100 bits of information at a time.
Only 50 out of millions.
Yes. The rest is just running your body in the background, like keeping your heart beating or digesting your food.
So if my brain is getting hit with millions of bits of data, but I can only process 50 bits, my brain has to act like a bouncer at a nightclub.
A bouncer.
Yeah, it has to stand at the door and decide which 50 pieces of information get into my conscious mind and which millions of pieces get ignored and left outside.
Exactly. And here is the secret. You have to tell the bouncer what to let in.
Oh, I see.
If you don't tell your brain what to look for, it will just focus on whatever it's used to focusing on. For many people, that means it defaults to focusing on negative things or things to be afraid of. You have to actively program the goal into your brain.
Wait, so just thinking about my goal isn't enough. If I just think, I want a new job, the bouncer doesn't listen.
Just thinking about it casually is too weak. You have to do it physically and repetitively to embed it deep into your neural pathways.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Here is the specific 4-step method based on neuroscience. First, you take a real pencil and paper. You actually write your goal down.
Why a pencil?
Because using a physical pencil uses your motor skills and your sense of touch.
Ah, got it.
Second, you read the goal silently to yourself. Third, you read the goal out loud, so your ears hear your own voice speaking the words.
Okay, so write it, read it silently, read it out loud. What's the fourth step?
And fourth, you close your eyes and deeply visualize it happening in your mind.
Write it, read it silently, read it out loud, visualize it. How does that physically change the brain?
Well, when you just casually think about something, only a tiny fraction of your brain is used. But when you write, you use the motor cortex.
Right.
When you speak and listen, you use the auditory cortex.
Yeah.
When you imagine, you use the visual cortex. You are forcing all these different areas of the brain to light up with electricity at the exact same time.
Oh, wow. So you're putting the brain to work.
Exactly. The brain has a fundamental rule. Neurons that fire together wire together. By forcing them to fire together, you are building a thick, paved highway of neural connections. Through repetition, you tell the brain's filtering system, this goal is extremely important. Do not ignore it.
I picture this attention network in the brain like a search and rescue bloodhound.
A bloodhound dog.
Yeah. If a bloodhound doesn't have a specific scent, it just sits there in the grass. It doesn't know what to do. But the
Mhm.
moment you hold a piece of clothing to its nose and let it smell the exact scent, the dog goes completely crazy.
It knows exactly what to look for.
Right. It filters out the smell of the entire forest just to find that one specific smell.
That is precisely how it works. You make the goal salient, which is a scientific term meaning highly important and noticeable.
So when you write your goal down, speak it out loud, and visualize it using all your senses, you are giving the bloodhound in your brain the specific scent of your goal.
Yes, you are.
And once you give it the scent, that bloodhound runs off into your daily life. It automatically starts hunting for opportunities, conversations, and ideas in your environment that match your goal things that the bouncer at the nightclub would normally just reject.
That is exactly right.
And hey, if you've been enjoying listening to this, consider subscribing. It really helps the brain's bloodhound find more great content.
It does. And the science of this is very real. If you program the goal, your brain will absolutely help you find it. But this raises an incredibly important question about what we think we want versus what we actually need.
Which takes us right back to the boy from the magic shop,
Yes?
because he learned this exact four-step technique from the kind woman. He learned how to calm his nervous system into heart mode, and he learned how to visualize his goals.
Right. And as a poor 12-year-old, he made a list of what he wanted his bloodhound to track down.
Let me guess, he wanted money.
He wanted to be a millionaire. He wanted a massive mansion. He wanted a Porsche. He wanted a prestigious medical career so people would respect him.
And the crazy thing is, it worked.
It worked perfectly. He trained his brain to notice every opportunity, every study habit, and every connection that would get him those things.
He grew up to become a highly successful, famous neurosurgeon. He bought the luxury cars. He bought the massive house overlooking the ocean. He had $80 million in the bank.
An incredible amount of wealth.
Yeah, he got every single thing he told his brain to track down. But he was completely miserable. He was empty, deeply unhappy, and unfulfilled.
And we have to ask why. Why did achieving every single goal make him miserable?
Well, wait, let me push back on this for a second.
Sure.
Wait, so are you saying we shouldn't want nice things? Because I think most of us listening would still really enjoy having a lot of money and a nice car.
It is a very fair point, and
Yeah.
it's a very common misunderstanding. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having nice things. Wealth is fine. A nice car is fun to drive.
Okay, good, because I definitely still want a nice car.
Of course. The problem is not the object itself. The problem is the motivation behind it. This neurosurgeon was chasing all of these external things because he wanted to feel worthy as a human being.
He was using it to prove something.
He was using the money and the cars for external validation. Deep down, he still felt like that poor, invisible 12-year-old kid. He thought, if people see me in this Porsche, they will think I am important, and then finally I will feel safe.
So he was trying to fix an internal feeling of being broken by putting an external shiny object on top of it.
Precisely. And when you attach your personal worth to external things, you are actually staying trapped in fear mode.
Even with $80 million.
Yes. Why? Because you are constantly terrified of losing those things. If your entire identity is, I am the rich guy with the mansion, then you live in constant anxiety that the mansion might be taken away. You are back to being a stressed-out warrior.
That makes so much sense.
True fulfillment, the kind that biologically triggers heart mode and releases oxytocin, only comes when your goals are tied to being of service to others.
Which connects right back to human evolution.
Exactly.
We are biologically wired to feel our best when we are helping our community. When your goal is simply, look at me, look how rich I am, your brain feels isolated and alone.
Right.
But when your goal is, I want to be successful so I can take care of my family and help my community, your brain feels connected and safe.
Exactly. And life has a very intense way of forcing us to learn this lesson.
Oh yeah, the twist in the neurosurgeon's story is shocking.
It really is.
During a massive economic crash, he lost it all. His investments failed, his businesses collapsed, and his entire $80 million fortune was wiped out. He found himself millions of dollars in debt.
Everything was gone.
Yeah, he had to sell the Porsche, sell the mansion, sell everything. He was right back to where he started as a child.
But this time, his reaction was completely different.
Right. If this had happened to him when he was 12, he would have panicked. He would have been entirely consumed by fear mode.
Of course.
But because of his training, he recognized what was happening. He took a deep breath, he actively put his body into heart mode, and he realized that all that money had just been a shield.
Yes.
Now, he actually still had a little bit of money left hidden away in a legal trust. His lawyers told him he could keep this last bit of money to save himself and live comfortably.
But instead of keeping it, he made a radical decision.
What did he do?
He gave it all away to charity.
Wow, he went completely back to absolute zero.
He did.
But this time, he did it with a focus on helping others. He started setting up health clinics and funding research to help people. And that action, losing his external wealth but finding his internal purpose of service, brought him the ultimate happiness and success he had been searching for his whole life.
It proves that material things are just bonuses. Heart mode and self-compassion are the real goals.
Absolutely.
But to get there, we have to deal with the biggest obstacle in our way. Because if heart mode is so wonderful, why is it so hard to stay there? Why do we constantly drift back into stress and anxiety?
It is the voice in our own heads, isn't it? The constant negative self-talk.
Yes. In neuroscience, this is called the default mode network.
The default mode network.
Right. When you are not actively focusing on a task, like when you are just washing the dishes or driving your car, your brain goes into its default state. It daydreams, it wanders, and it thinks about yourself.
And usually not in a good way.
No. For most people, this default mode network is highly negative. It is a constant stream of thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I always mess up, or people don't really like me.
It is like laying down heavy bricks to build a prison wall around yourself, brick by brick, thought by thought.
That is a perfect description. And most of these bricks come from our childhood baggage. You know, the old emotional weight and bad habits we picked up when we were young.
Like when someone told us we weren't smart enough and we just kept repeating it until it felt like the absolute truth.
Exactly. But those thoughts aren't the truth. They're just old, sticky habits. You're literally manifesting a negative reality by constantly forcing your brain to repeat negative thoughts.
So how do we break out of this mental prison? I know from experience that you can't just yell at yourself to stop thinking negative thoughts. That just makes it worse.
No, you can't fight them directly. But you can start a new physical habit to slowly break the walls down.
Okay, what kind of habit?
You have to actively practice putting your body into the parasympathetic nervous system heart mode every single day. It requires a specific, simple morning routine to flip the biological switch.
Okay, let's give the listeners the daily fix. If someone wants to change their brain, what exactly should they do when they wake up tomorrow morning?
Well, it takes just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Step 1, when you wake up, do not look at your phone.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know, but it's crucial. Do not look at your emails. Just sit on the edge of your bed.
Okay, edge of the bed.
Step 2, do a breathing exercise to physically force your body into heart mode. You use your lungs like a mechanical lever in your chest.
A mechanical liver.
Yes. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold that breath for 4 seconds. Then breathe out slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds.
Okay.
Do this a few times. This specific, slow breathing pattern acts like a mechanical switch, sending a signal straight to your brain that you are safe.
In for 4, hold for 4, out slowly for 4. I can actually feel my shoulders relaxing just thinking about it.
That's the biology working. Step 3, once your body is calm, spend just 1 minute reflecting on gratitude and self-compassion.
Just 1 minute.
Just 1 minute. Think of one simple thing you are thankful for, even if it is just the warmth of your blanket or the sunlight coming through the window. And then offer yourself some kindness.
Like forgiving yourself.
Yes, remind yourself that you are worthy of love, just as you are, without needing a fancy car or a perfect job.
Think about how powerful this is for your own life. No matter how hard your current situation is right now or how stressful your job is, you have the power to change the energy you project into the world.
You really do.
If you start your morning with that breathing exercise and find just a tiny bit of gratitude, your entire energy shifts. Even something as simple as smiling or being kind to just one person a day changes your brain's biology.
That's incredible.
When you look at the world through a lens of kindness and possibility, the world actually changes how it looks back at you.
Yeah.
New opportunities suddenly become visible.
Because you have finally given your brain's bouncer the right instructions. You have given your bloodhound the right scent to track. You're tracking connection and growth, not fear and survival.
Let's bring all of this together. What we have learned today is that manifesting is not magic. It is simply using your biology and your focus to change the way you interact with the world.
Exactly.
You hold the literal key to your own mental prison. You can move from fear mode to heart mode by controlling your breath. You can use your brain's attention network to track down the life you want using the 4-step physical method.
The writing and visualizing.
Right. Just make sure your goals are rooted in service and human connection, not just shiny objects to make you feel important.
Knowledge is most valuable when it is understood and applied. You have the tools now. The breathing, the writing, the visualizing. The science is real, but it's up to you to actually practice it.
As we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a final thought to chew on.
Yes. Think about everything we discussed today regarding your brain's attention network. If your brain's attention network really is like a bloodhound constantly hunting for whatever you tell it to focus on, what has your bloodhound been secretly hunting for today without you even realizing it?
That is a great question.
Have you been unknowingly sending it to find reasons to be upset and stressed, or are you going to train it to find reasons to be hopeful?
That is a powerful question to carry with you. Thank you for joining us today on English Made Simple. Don't forget to like this video and drop a comment sharing your thoughts. And subscribe for more.